Eriksson, and welcome to Scandinavian Echoes, an hour of music, stories, pictures, and videos, broadcasting from Long Island, New York, and this is your host, Jeanne Eriksson. This is season number 2, show number 4, and wherever you're watching and listening from, whether it's on Facebook or YouTube, we thank you for joining us. Scandinavian Echoes radio show started back in 1936 with Hans Berggren, who passed it along to my father, Walter Eriksson, and now here we are, still preserving and celebrating Scandinavian music and artists, both old and new. Last week's program was dedicated to the Norsk Høstfest, an annual week-long gigantic celebration that takes place in Minot, North Dakota. But because of the coronavirus, the Høstfest, like so many other celebrations, big and small, was canceled. So in its honor, we featured music and stories of folks that we know and some we have yet to meet, but have performed at the Høstfest. One lady wrote to me and said, Niels Sedaka is not Norsk. I said, yeah, we know. But he was one of the many wonderful big-name celebrities that entertain at the Høstfest year after year. It's a grand and the largest festival of its kind in North America. Today's show is more from the Høstfest because there's so much more music and stories and photos to share. So, speaking of music, let's do this. Back in the 90s, we met Sigmund Deli and Eddie Knerten at the Høstfest, fantastic accordionists from Norway who always rock the house. I bet you won't sit still to this Cajun-flavored Norwegian two-roder and trekkspiel music. Take it away, Sigmund and Knerten.
oss och väl jämnt.
Tusen tack, Sigmund and Eddie. You know, you really should learn how to have more fun with those accordions. Herregud. We met this next group of musicians the first time we were at the Hustfest in 1997. So we go back a long ways, but they live a long ways from New York. From Brainerd, Minnesota comes Paul Wilson, Mary Abendroth, and Shar Bostrom, or maybe it's Boostrom, with a Finnish waltz. Paul has both Swedish and Norwegian heritage and comes from a musical family and plays the fiddle and the accordion. Mary plays the pump organ and guitar, and Shar is featured on the fiddle. They have perhaps been at every Hustfest since we met, because every time I've been there, they've been there. They have two musical groups. One is called Skål Musik, and the other is called Ole Olsen's Old Time Orchestra. Paul is the host also to a big music festival held in Nisswa, Minnesota, called the Nisswa Stämma. Translated, that means a musical get-together. They have groups come every year from all over the world, from the Nordic countries and locally as well. This year, of course, guess what? Unfortunately, it was canceled due to the coronavirus. But I'm sure plans are already in gear for Nisswa Stämman 2021. So here is Paul, Mary, and Shar from their appearance on a pioneer show with a Finnish waltz. I'm going to let Paul Wilson do the introduction.
This tune is called Valsi Jokkmokista. And that Jokkmokk is actually, I believe, in northern Sweden, so I don't know, but they play this tune in Finland, and we learned it from a friend of ours who teaches lots of kids to play violin in a small town in Kaustinen in Finland.
Kiitos, Ole Olsen's Old Time Orchestra. Paul, I'm really glad you introduced that one. Kiitos, Palja. Now, I've told you before how a schottes is the same as rock and roll, and who better to convert a traditional gammeldans schottes and make his own funky arrangement than Lars Carlson of Fjärås, Sweden, just south of Gothenburg. Lars on his diatonic accordion and his guitarist Thomas Andersson played on stage at the Norsk Høstfest some years ago. And I remember that Ingrid Feingold and I, we got dressed up like them at their final show and barged on stage, me with a guitar and Ingrid with an accordion, and we faked playing along. That's the kind of fun we had and makes for good memories and stories. Let's hear from Lars Carlson, Thomas Andersson, and the rest of the LKB, the Lars Carlson Band, with Bröllops Schottes that they made into a video called Jailhouse Rock. It's about being in jail, but with their instruments. Or is it a bad dream? Or these kids nowadays? Here's my good accordion friend, Lars Carlson, with a Schottes Rock. What the? Sounds like we should have saved this for Halloween weekend. Thank you, Snapchat Lars and the LKB. You guys do rock. You know, in Åland, there's an annual week-long summer concert called Rock Off. Anyway, if you're in the market for a new accordion, check out Lars's company, carlsonsmusik.se. Or take a look on their Facebook page and see the colorful collection of accordions. Accordion? Did someone say accordion? The most well-known accordionist on TV from the 50s to the 80s was from the Lawrence Welk show, Myron Florin, a first-generation Norwegian-American who grew up on a farm in South Dakota. He started playing accordion at the age of 6 when his father, Ole, bought him a $10 mail-order squeeze box. He taught himself how to play. A household name, the Lawrence Welk Show was watched by millions starting on a little black and white TV in the 50s and ran until 1982. I know some of you still watch the reruns, and you know what? It was a really good show. Good, wholesome music, singing and dancing. Myron appeared twice daily at the Husfest with a big band, and the audience, of course, loved him. He was also inducted into the Scandinavian Hall of Fame and the International Polka Music Hall of Fame. The American Accordion Association also honored him in 1996. The Lawrence Welk Show called him the Happy Norwegian, I suppose because he was always smiling. And so here he is from the TV show playing just a little bit of luck. And I'll have Lawrence Welk do the introduction. Oh, and by the way, the dance floor is open.
Now I see Myron Florence getting his little polka band together for a song from My Fair Lady. It's titled With a Little Bit of Luck, which isn't exactly appropriate in Myron's case. This happy Norwegian became a great accordionist, not with a little bit of luck, but with a constant practice. Myron, come in, please.
Thank you, Lawrence and Myron. Now, one year, Myron, who was king of the Norsk Husfest, was not well enough to travel and perform at the Husfest in Minot, North Dakota. Everyone was feeling blue. What can we do? Asked longtime director Pam Davey to me before flying out to Minot in 1998. I thought about perhaps a sing-along video with the SAC, the Scandinavian Accordion Club, and maybe with some of our other performer friends. Well, she arranged to have the lyrics that I wrote to Let Me Call You Sweetheart sung by not only entertainers such as Williams and Rhee, the Four Tenors, and the Western Plains Children's Chorus, but the entire audience of 11,000 people at the Great Viking Hall. It was indeed an honor to be on that big stage together with members of the Scandinavian Accordion Club, the Swedish Culture Band, and friends, and we wished Myron well through this song. Although the sound isn't the best, I still wanted to share this video with you here on the show because it's pretty special. Myron married one of his accordion students, Berdine Kerner, and they raised 5 children, all daughters. He made California his home, pursued his own orchestra playing all over the country, and made a lot of people happy. Myron passed away in 2005, but lucky for us, the music lives on. Here's the tribute to Myron Floren at the Norsk Husfest.
Jeanne Widman of the Scandinavian Accordion Club of New York decided to honor the absent Myron in song, written to the tune of Let Me Call You Sweetheart. Everyone seems to have a special story about Myron. Something he's done, some type of selfless gesture, an act of kindness that's touched someone's heart.
Thank you for that opportunity, Norsk Husfest, and thank you for the music, Myron, at the Husfest and all the years of wonderful Lawrence Welk music programs. We got to sit with him at the annual accordion dinner in Minot, and he was a very happy, very kind, and gentle man. This is Scandinavian Echoes Music Show, brought to you by Scandinavian Echoes of New York, and this is your host, Jeanne Eriksson. If you tuned in late, no worries. You can catch the show from the beginning again anytime, either on Facebook or YouTube. Please share the show by clicking on the Share tab and send it to all those you think who would like it. If you have a newsletter or you send emails to your Scandinavian or Nordic clubs, such as Sons of Norway, the Vasa Swedish Organization of America, the Finlandia Foundation, the Danish Brotherhood, Svea, Daughters of Norway. There are so many now with the internet. Please tell them about Scandinavian Echoes. We would so very much appreciate that. We just want to share, preserve, and celebrate the music, the stories, and the photos. If you have requests or suggestions or questions, send them in an email to scandechoes@gmail.com. Check out our website that is under construction, but it's coming along, www.scandinavianechoes.com. Now let's get back to the music. Dancing is a very big part of the Husfest. There's the dance of the Norwegian sweaters with the local dance studio students with their teacher, Renat Musaforov, or as I used to call him, Renat Mushki-Bushki. Hi, Renat, we miss you. And sometimes people just get up and dance in the middle of a show in the aisles or in the front of the stage, like Ivan and Gloria. And it's because they can't wait for the nightly dances on the mezzanine of the North Dakota Fairgrounds main building. Get this, 4 nights of dancing, and people still do come out after spending a full day of shopping and being entertained. But it's a great way to wrap up the day with a few drinks, hook up with some friends, old and new, and dance the night away. Wednesday night through Saturday night, there are 2 or 3 bands playing for packed dance floors, including the Crazy Mountain Express, a spin-off of the Ringling Five, hi guys, and a popular big band that came every year for many years was the Chmielewskis. They specialized in waltzes, foxtrots, and of course, polkas. This band has been around for 6 generations, passing on the music to the young ones, and when you grow up in a household of music, it's usually second nature to keep it going one way or the other. They were always so nice to me, telling me stories about my dad when he performed out there at the Husfest. An amazing music family. Here's a tune from when the band was just in its 4th generation at the time, which started in 1955. The tune is called Melinda Polka, and Florian Chmielewski, playing accordion for 7 decades, is still their manager. And he says polka people are happy people. So get ready, it's polka time with the Chmielewski Fun Time Band. Chmielewskis, keep up the good work. Polka people are indeed happy people. Traveling from Denmark to the Husfest, Harald Haugård is a violinist and a folk music expert and loves to talk about how it's passed on from generation to generation from the different regions and with your own interpretation by adding your own personality into the music. He runs a folk music academy, and besides playing at the Husfest in North Dakota, he's been at the Nisswa Stemman in Minnesota that I talked about earlier, and the Edmonton, Alberta Canadian Folk Music Festival. So here's a sweet Danish tune with Harald Haugård together with Helene Blum, and it's called Vil du som jeg. I hope you will like me. Varsågod.
Vil du komme til hytten så skyggefuld smuk med sangen af roser besprængte med du. Vil du komme derind? Vil du i hytten hvor roserne hvile med blus på din kind og med øjne som smiler? Vil du hvile min ven? Men varm som din morgen er roserne ikke. Ej, dukken så sød som de kys vi vil drikke. Vil du kysse mig?
Tusen tack, Harald and Helene from Denmark. Now let's hoppa up to Vigeland, Norway, where the popular Lindesnes Trekkspils Club comes from. They've been to the Husfest a few times, and they've traveled by way of Bay Ridge, Brooklyn a few times also. Arlene Rutulo and her family sponsored a Brooklyn Husfest for a few years when the Nordic Deli was in full swing. It was a grand event held on 3rd Avenue, and then it grew so big that it went to a big field along the Narrows down on Shore Road. I remember it being the first weekend in October, and we played with the Scandinavian Accordion Club of New York at the Brooklyn event in short sleeves. It was a beautiful day, what we would call an Indian summer day. The next day, we got on a plane and flew to North Dakota, and we landed in a blizzard. We went straight to the local variety store and bought hats and gloves. The Husfest has since moved the event, however, to the week before, and so far, so good. In fact, it never snowed again the times I went there. But back to the Lindesnes Trekkspils Club. Here they are with a well-known waltz. The dance floor is open for Kväsevals.
Oh
Mange tusen takk. That was Lindesnes Trekkspillsklubb from Norway, a fun, happy group. Now, back in late March and early April of this crazy year 2020, it became apparent that this COVID-19 coronavirus was postponing events and canceling all shows, performances, concerts, festivals. It wasn't long, though, until musicians, singers, bands, choirs, actors, and all artists in all shapes and forms got out there by way of live or pre-recorded videos on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and even TV. It's hard to not play, not perform, not make music. It's impossible, actually. And since the beginning of this pandemic, one of the artists going live at least once a week with his own private mini concerts is Odd Arne Hallas from Norway. Go to his Facebook page or YouTube and you'll find all of his concerts there for your musical enjoyment. Takk, Odd Arne. It's been very entertaining with your large repertoire. And it's helped pass the time when days were at their darkest quarantine levels. Odd Arne was also at the Husfest back in the 90s, and we met out there in North Dakota. So here's a taste of this fine singer and accordionist who hasn't let the pandemic stop him from making music. The tune is called Himmelen I Tomrefjord. It's Heaven in Tomrefjord, recorded in the middle of the coronavirus, right on 17 May, the May 17th, 2020. It's a thank you to the people who live there, who took such good care of him when he was in need. His good friend Øystein Hauge has written the text based on the Swedish original version, and Jens Vammelös arranged for all the other instruments. He says it was recorded a little bit in Denmark and a little bit in his basement in Kroksbakken. Photos are by a fantastic photographer and opera star by the name of Petter Lilleby Fegran. So get cozy, wrap yourself around Himmelen I Tomrefjord. Varsågod, Odd Arne.
Någon må ha mala med väldige vingar en rödgul solnedgang. I lägger jag nävån och längtar med hemat till fjol och flärstämt sång. I restjorda runt och hellet med ett tre och ett ord. Men det är nog lite grann närmar till himmeln från Tomrefjord. I kan vi ha vändom, det är många år sedan, var en höstkväll i Kristiansund. På Nordmörskafén med mitt ensamma hjärta, och livet var mest hand till mun. Det kändes som slutten var nere, men så nynnade svagt om en fjol. Och mitt dörr ville inte till himmel, I vill heller till Tomrefjord. Det är det och folket, det är där I finat gamla spår som gör att allt väskas som där mellan himmeln och Tomrefjord. Så bodde I någon år sör I landet, kor I längta till fjord och fjäll. Det var country och rock bort på kroa, och aldrig nå bärnigespel. När I såg jag nå regnfulla glaset, är det tydligt ser emot nord. Ja, det är något lite närmare, det är himmel från
That was beautiful. Tack Odd Arne. Come back again soon to Scandinavian Echoes. Which reminds me, you're listening to Season 2, Show Number 4 of Scandinavian Echoes Music Show, and ask that you help us grow our audience by sharing on either Facebook or sending the YouTube link on an email or a message. Either way, we thank you. We do it because we love preserving and celebrating Scandinavian music, old and new. You can also contact us at scandechoes@gmail.com or a message on Facebook. Also, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. You can do that by going to youtube.com, search for Scandinavian Echoes, and there you will find the channel and all of the programs from Season 1 and so far Season 2. You can also find the old shows that have been converted from cassettes from the 80s and the 90s. Scandinavian music until the cows come home. I get so many comments about it bringing back memories. Well, go and get them all and bring them back. Speaking of back, let's get back to the show. Also performing at the Höstfest some years back was Sweden's expert nickel harpist from Hälsingland, Peter Puma Hedlund. He's certainly not a stranger to America, having performed not only in North Dakota, but Minnesota, New York, New Jersey, probably more states, and he's practically a regular at the Jamestown, New York Folk Festival. Peter is building his own nickel harpas during this pandemic. Go find him on the internet and take a look. Here is Peter as he performed on a local TV show called The Pioneer, playing Hålnäs Polketten. And then us guys from New York, Smörgåsbandet, had some fun with Peter when we ended up on the same stage in Jamestown a few years ago. And what do you think he played? Hålnäs Polketten. So we joined in with this happy Swedish polka. Hoppsan hejsan. Varsågod Peter Puma Hedlund. Hålnäs is a community in the province of Uppland where the nickel harpa has its roots. Tack så mycket Peter Hedlund and Smörgåsbandet. Roots. We talk about our Scandinavian and Nordic roots, and we cherish that heritage. How about the folks who are already here with roots in North America when all those millions of immigrants arrived from Europe during America fever in the late 1800s and the early 1900s? A duo at the Husfest who would be the first to make fun with this and everything that comes into their path is Terry Ree and Bruce Williams, musician comedians known as the Indian and the White Guy. They have been performing 2 shows a day, 4 days a week for I don't know how many years at the Norsk Husfest, and it's a packed audience every single time. They are fantastic musicians too, and they mix it up with hilarious, fresh comedy. Each show is customized to whatever is happening now. They leave no stone unturned, and if they offend anyone, well, it's all in good fun, and the audience is in tears with laughter. They say what some of us are thinking, but somehow, did I just say how? Yes, somehow they get away with it, and here goes nothing with this little excerpt. Video tease of the funniest guys in the world who have been together for 50 years, making people laugh and forget about their troubles or whatever. Just check out this snippet of their show, some remarks by the happy audience, and a tune together from Larry's Diner. Take it away, Williams and Ree.
Welcome back to Williams and Reed.
We are Williams and Reed, the Indian and the White Guy.
And this is our 50th year, our 50th anniversary tour,
Yes.
and 50 years of being with the same Indian. I think I deserve some government money.
I think so. And before we go any farther, I'm going to tell all of you,
Yep.
we are not politically correct.
Yes, right.
Because we will tell you
Yeah.
exactly what's on my mind.
Yes.
That's...
I've always had a bottle I could turn to, and lately I've been turning every day. But the wine don't take effect the way it used to. I'm hurting in an old familiar way. Baby, tonight the bottle
Let me down.
You ever had an Indian boyfriend?
No.
No.
Should I try one?
She ought to try one before it's too late.
It is too late.
It is too late. Yeah, for both of you.
Bevan Barr. Anyway, this, I'll say a few words in Sioux and you go ahead and translate.
Okay, I'll try.
All right, say, how cola.
How's your cola?
No.
All right, not everybody got a cola,
No.
because some of them got wine.
No. That's not what I said.
What?
I said how cola.
Oh.
How means hello.
Oh.
Cola is friend.
Friend.
How cola, hello friend.
Oh, friend is cola. Uncola would be enemy.
Not necessarily. It's not a...
Diet cola be a fat friend.
No.
Cherry cola.
Stop it.
It's just hilarious. They're just funny all the way around, period.
I loved it.
Outstanding.
It's really funny.
They're very smart, very witty, and they don't mind if they offend anybody.
And nobody's safe with them. That's what I like. Nobody's safe with them.
It was hilarious. It was. I really enjoyed it. Yeah. It's just real. I mean, they just say what they think.
Hilarious. One of the best comedy groups I've ever seen. Rolls out of them, and they don't rehearse or it doesn't seem like it just rolls out of them.
Oh, they are so good. I've heard them about 3 or 4 times, and every time they're better. They're just so crazy.
Oh, it was awesome. It was
hilarious.
Yeah. They are really funny.
Never the same. They always come up with different things, and to ad lib, and you have to be good if you're going to get invited back to this place year after year after year.
Is it time already?
Well, let's do a song.
To do a song?
Sure.
Oh, boy.
All right.
All right.
Well,
Williams and Reed.
This is where you get the chance to see the Indian pick. How about me? I was wandering through a little Texas border town. Another guy with plenty of time. She was wandering too, and then her eyes met mine. In that panhandle town along that Texas borderline, well, the night was cold, dreary, and the rain was falling, sure was falling fast. I was getting weary because I left my little dearie in a town I passed. And never more wrong from this border town. I'll marry that girl, there I'll settle down.
Deep within my heart lies a melody, a song of old San Antonio, where in dreams I live with a memory beneath the stars all alone. It was there I found beside the Alamo, enchantment strange as the blue up above, a moonlit path that only she would know. I know. Still hears my broken song of love. Moon in all your splendor knows only my heart. Count back my roses, San Antonio. Lips so sweet and tender, like petals falling apart. String once again of my love, my own broken song, empty words. I know, still live in my heart all alone. Oh, that moonlit path by the Alamo, and rose, my rose, San Antonio, and rose, my rose, San Antonio.
Williams and Ree. Thanks to all the performers for their music on this show today. The Norsk Høstfest is so big, and having been there 10 times, we made a lot of friends and got to know the ins and outs of the event. I had so much material and photos that it turned out I needed another hour to celebrate and share with you. As mentioned on last week's program, I highly recommend visiting the Norsk Høstfest at least once in your lifetime if you like anything Nordic. Where does one stay out there, you ask? There are plenty of hotels and motels, or sometimes host families in Minot will reach out because as many people that live in Minot are as many people that invade what is known as the Magic City. Check out their website, hostfest.com, and they're on all the social media platforms. Tell them Jeannie Widman sent you. Here are some photos to give you a taste of the Scandemonium that awaits in Minot, North Dakota. They are from the Chad Widman collection, our expert PR man, among other things. Thank you, Chad. And thanks so much to Wayne Söderlund for making sense of all the tunes, videos, photos, and timing of Scandinavian Echoes. It's a labor of love, just like the volunteers at Norsk Høstfest. Here's Walter Eriksson's orchestra as a backdrop to a plethora of photos. You like that word? Plethora. Can you imagine Einar trying to say that word? Okay. The music is starting. That's my cue. Thanks, Dad, and thank you for tuning into Scandinavian Echoes. I hope you enjoyed another visit to the Norsk Høstfest and all the music. Please share the show with your friends, clubs, lodges, organizations, tantes, and cousins. If you'd like to contact us, send an email to scandaechoes@gmail.com. And also, please go to the YouTube channel and click on subscribe. And if you haven't already, click on like on the Scandinavian Echoes Facebook page. The next show up will have a taste of Oktoberfest in the air, so get your lederhosen out of the mothballs and join us once again for the premiere next Sunday, or catch any of the shows anytime. Here is my father, Walter Eriksson, once again, with our closing song, Brooklyn Memories, Where It All Began. This is Jeanne Eriksson, Widman, Anderson saying be safe, ha det så gott, and hej så länge.